Hello and welcome to a very brief introduction to logic gates. Logic gates deal with digital logic. This is a digital signal. Now the digital signal is either off or on. It is not analog, there's only two distinct states. Sometimes in programming, logic is true or false. True would be an on, false would be off. In terms of electronic logic, that usually translates to a voltage. Either the voltage is above a certain threshold or it is below or zero. Now, the simplest logic gate is a NOT gate. A NOT gate will take the input and, well, let's see what happens. Okay, so if we plug in our NOT gate, okay, so you can see that we're feeding into it a 0 and there is an output. So if we complete this truth table, when there is a 0 for the NOT gate, the output is 1. And when there is an input, when the input is 1, then the output is 0. So a NOT gate, sometimes I think referred to as an inverter. Whatever you feed into it, it feeds out the opposite. Input 0, output 1, input 1, output 0. So that is the simplest logic gate, and it's a little bit unique in that it only has one input. Okay, right, moving on to second logic gate. You can see the symbol here is a sort of big D. It's the AND gate. So what does the AND gate do? So if we plug in our AND gate, okay, it's a 2-input gate. If we feed in 0 and 0, then there is no output. If we have 0 and 1, then it is still 0. If we have 1 and 0, then that is still 0, it's no output. And if we have both inputs, then and only then we have an output. So for an AND gate, it needs both to be on. In programming, both of those statements must be true, and then it triggers the gate. So if only one of them is on, then it doesn't, or if both of them are off, they need both of them to be on, and then you get a signal out. Okay, so that is the AND gate. The next gate we'll look at is the NAND gate. Now this is equivalent of having an AND gate followed by a NOT gate. So if I just set this up at the bottom, so we can compare the AND to the AND and then a NOT gate. Hopefully you can see that it functions in exactly the same way. So here we have our NOT gate. Okay, so let's connect the NAND to it. Okay, so if we feed in 0 and 0, we get an output from our NAND gate. And the bottom two, you can see that the AND gate, 0 goes into the AND gate, and 0 comes out, and then the NOT gate converts that to a 1. Right, so if we feed in one signal to that, so 0 and 1, or if I'm going to be consistent like that, our NAND gate also gives a 1. And the other way around, again, we have a 1. Now, and let's feed in both. Our AND gate has an output, and after the NOT gate, that is now 0. Whereas our NAND gate, again, we have both inputs and 0 coming out. So a NAND gate, you can see this little circle after the symbol for an AND gate. It's inverse of what an AND gate is. NAND gates are actually very important because they're what's called a universal gate. Okay, so let's move on to an OR gate. Okay, now an OR gate see how an OR gate functions. Okay, so with our OR gate connected, if both of the inputs are 0, our output is 0. If one of the inputs is on, the output is 1. If we change that around, the other input is 1. And then if we have both of them, it is still on. So we can think of an OR gate as kind of any. If either of the inputs is on, then you're going to get an output. Now, the next gate we'll look at is going to be a NOR gate. And again, you can see that the symbol for a NOR gate is going to be the same. It's an OR gate, and then also with this circle afterwards. Okay, and if we just collect up an OR gate and a NOT gate, we can see them behaving in exactly the same way. So a NOR gate behaves in the same way as an OR gate, followed by a NOT gate. And you can already see what the result is for no input for the NOR gate. So when we have our NOR gate with 0, 0 inputs, then we have an output for our NOR gate. Okay, and also if we have our OR gate feeding in 0 and 0, we have 0 output, but the NOT gate inverts that to 1. Okay, now let's feed in a signal. Okay, so the NOR gate turns off and our OR gate is on, but after the NOT gate it is off, so we get a 0 out of the NOT gate. Okay, and try the other signal. Okay, again the NOR gate is off and the OR gate followed by the NOT gate, it is now off as well. Now let's turn on both of these, it is still off. So if we have a quick look at that, you can see that the OR gate and the NOR gate are exactly the opposite. So or any, if we have either of these signals as 1, then we have an output for the NOR. If either of these signals is 1, then we have 0. We have 0 for the output. Only when we have two 0 inputs do we get an output of 1. Okay, now finally, the last logic gate, the XOR gate, which is my personal favorite because it's, I think, what an OR gate should be. So what is the symbol, what is the truth table for an XOR gate? So we just connect this. Okay, so we can see that the input, when the input for a XOR gate or exclusive OR gate, so the XOR gate, if we feed in 0 and 0, then our output is 0. Okay, now if we feed in one input, then, so 0 and 1, then we have an output of 1. If we feed in the other input, then we have 1 as well. So then if we try the last one for both inputs, being on, then our output is off. So this is literally an OR. This input A or input B, but not both. So that's why it's called exclusive OR gate. And you might notice that it has this double curve going into the logic gate here. Okay, so let's just turn this off. First input, yes. Second input, yes. Both inputs off, and no input is also off. So it will only accept a single input. Okay. I hope that's been in some ways useful. Those are the basic gates.